The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer! Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters. We're going to bring you the news and reviews of your favorite brews. My name is Dan Baker, joined once again by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hafner.
and of course the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
This is a first for us. It is
Fucking early.
10:07 a.m. on a Saturday, and we are not only awake, we are about to drink, and that's no better way to start a Saturday
I agree
than with
with
beer. But we are in Ephrata, Pennsylvania. We are at Black Forest Brewery, a place we've been trying to come for a while for an episode, and I'm glad it finally happened. I'm so excited to be here. I love the decor inside here. The numbering on the taps behind the wall is kind of messing with my mind, but we'll go into that in a little bit.
Oh, yeah, they're out of order. I didn't notice that.
See?
Huh.
Yeah, there's 6 taps. It's numbers 243, 165, and I'm starting to think it's a code for something.
Could be.
Whose luggage? Well,
That's the same coat I have on my luggage.
exactly, right? Well, we have 2 guys who were kind enough to invite us out here, start the morning off with us. Gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves.
I'm Bob Harder, owner of Black Forest.
All right, and?
I'm Eric Sears. I'm the bar manager at Black Forest.
All right, guys, thank you so much for having us out here.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention we passed Whistle Stop Plaza.
We
on
did.
the way here.
Oh,
as
yes.
Memories of Ephrata Brewfest.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun this year.
It looks a lot different when there are no tents.
Yeah. It was weird when it was just a parking lot. Like,
Yeah.
That's what it normally
Yeah,
looks
right.
like. Yeah, we're only a few blocks away from there.
We are.
Yeah. Ephrata's really cool. We should come to Ephrata more often.
Yeah, it's a great little town.
It really is.
I like it. It's just,
I went to a
it's far.
winery right up the block. What's that winery?
Weathered Vineyards.
Yeah.
probably.
Yes, Weathered Vineyards. I was there a few months back, and it was really fantastic. Hello?
I thought it was a real, like a Brooklyn, Massachusetts. Hello.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah, right. Well, don't forget, for you out there in the internet land, you can follow us. You need to follow us. You should follow us. Please follow us.
You must.
You must. At Beer Busters on the Twitter and the Instagram. We are Beer Busters Podcast on Facebook. There's also beerbusterspodcast.com and patreon.com/beerbusters, where you, for as little as $1 a month, can find yourself into a way to see more Beer Busters goodies. There's special feeds that we have. There's the punishment. There's last call. There are things that are worthy of the admission price, if I do say so myself, for as little as $1 a month. There are different rewards for different tiers that you can get, but who doesn't want more Beer Busters in their lives? Let's be honest.
Absolutely. And even more Beer Busters, you can sign up for our newsletter, recently revamped and updated. It only comes out once a month now, so we don't bother you too much. It used to be every other week, but we cut that back a little bit. You can sign up on our website. You can sign up on our Facebook page. And at some point, I am going to put together a Bit.ly link that I can actually say on the episode, but I haven't done that yet. But, yeah, Beer Busters newsletter, you can find it, sign up. It's worth it.
You know, it's easy to do a Bit.ly link, right?
You just want to do it right now?
I mean,
let's do it right now,
We
live
could.
on air.
Well,
All right.
well, maybe. We have a lot of things we need to
Okay.
get to, and we are on a time constraint. That being the case, why don't we go into the news? Been a while since we did news. I kind of forgot how it worked and forgot to look at stories until this
Yeah, our
morning.
last couple episodes were Beer Fest.
Yeah.
And Steph wasn't at the last one.
She wasn't.
Sorry,
It was
not sorry.
Weird. It's all right.
Shout out again
I
to
was
Ron.
at a concert.
Shout out to Ron, one of our
Yes, Ron McDonald.
best friends and patrons. He really helped out.
Yes.
Thanks, Ron.
I had 2 stories, but I think we only have time for one.
Let's do
and
it.
I'm trying to figure out which one I want to do.
Oh, just fuck it. We'll do them both.
All right, fine. Why
Do it
not?
quick.
This one's kind of depressing.
Oh.
Boulder Beer Company in Boulder, Colorado, is pulling back national distribution and downsizing operations. For nearly 30 years, Boulder Beer has been brewing beer in their home of Boulder, Colorado. Citing an explosive number of brewing openings and crowded shelves, Boulder is going to focus solely on providing their brew pub at Wilderness Place with beer. Brewery owner Gina Day made a statement about the move on Boulder's Facebook page, saying, "Times have changed and change is hard, but I'm ready to put the fun back in beer. Our friends will still be able to enjoy our beers in the brew pub, and by brewing in small batches, have a wider variety of options on the ever-rotating specialty taps. We're celebrating our milestone 40th anniversary this year." That's really cool. "And look forward to furthering our legacy in Boulder and the industry." The brewery further states that brewery fans will be able to try Boulder's beers in small batches at the brew pub that is open 7 days a week, with more styles and creations in the future. They currently produce 16,000 barrels of beer annually, and as of now, distribute to 34 states And as part of the downsizing, they are going to unfortunately have to lay off 21
Yeah, I was actually
employees.
just going to ask you how wide their distribution was. It's yet another case of one of these mid-sized craft
Yep.
breweries.
I feel like we've heard this before.
Yeah, that's the trend now. It's you got to be hyper local or InBev. There's like no in between anymore. There's no middle class in the brewing
Which there's
space.
something to be said about serving the community, and I'm glad that they're going to focus on that again. It's a shame that they have to downsize that
Boulder,
way.
Colorado, talk about a crowded
I
market,
know,
right?
man. That's rough. That's rough.
Boulder's amazing.
Yeah.
Never been.
Yeah, I never have either. But man, I mean, Denver, Boulder. I mean, you just think, that's right up there with all the big beer cities out there.
Yeah.
And 40 years though. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna keep happening though.
Yeah, well, good for them. I hope they get many more years out of it. But
They make some good beers.
Of course.
Don't they? The Shake something porter, something.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I've never had the shake something. In other news, sustainability is a thing that people all have to worry about. And Carlsberg has released details of 2 new paper bottle research prototypes they're working on.
wait, paper?
I drank out of a paper straw recently.
I drank out of a paper bag
at
recently.
a vegan bakery.
I'm so proud of you.
But it was mushy. Like it was
Yeah.
after like 5
No,
minutes.
I had a cocktail last night with a
and
paper
it just
straw,
didn't-
and it was not cutting it.
I saw a thing. This is going to
I
turn
need a
into
metal straw.
a segment
one.
about
I
straws.
like it.
Straws and not beer.
I don't want to own one. I just want bars that have them.
Oh, no, I have one.
I saw a thing on I think on Facebook where there are places in Italy that were using like pasta
Pasta
straws.
straws,
Did you see
yeah.
that? Yeah,
That's cool.
I imagine that's pretty
Well,
adorable.
at Applebee's, when they have the Twizzler drink,
I was gonna
use
say,
your Twizzler as a straw.
I used to use Twizzlers as a straw when I worked at the movie theater.
Yeah.
This straw subject is a very rough subject for us because we once were docked a star rating on Google because we have plastic straws.
Really?
What?
Wow.
I purposely put in 2 plastic straws.
In every cup.
That seems.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. We need to be thinking about our choices, and sustainability is something that's more urgent than ever. But
That's well, and here I know again. I don't want to go on a tangent about straws, but I feel like it's one of those things where you pick this tiny, relatively insignificant thing to try and fix a much bigger systemic problem. Like plastic straws are not what's destroying the planet. There's a lot bigger
humans
issues
are what are
to worry
destroying
about.
the
Like,
planet.
yeah, if you're not throwing out a bunch of straws, it's probably a little bit better, but it's not really making. Like, there are much bigger things to worry about than fucking straws.
Do you want me to go on my soapbox tangent about this right now?
Oh, boy. maybe we'll save that for last call.
Eat less beef.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right.
Working
That's
on
true. But it's
Use
so
less palm oil.
it's so delicious. It's so hard. I'd rather give it
It's
straws
really
than beef.
not that hard. It's really not that
Anyway, what about paper bottles?
Anyway, in an announcement made during their C40 World Mayors Summit in Copenhagen on Friday, the Danish brewing giant said that the green fiber bottle prototypes were produced from sustainably sourced wood fibers and are, quote, fully recyclable. The business has been developing the idea since 2015, working with packaging experts and academics on the product. And there is a, quote, inner barrier that is used to ensure that the bottles can carry beer. Now, one prototype used, here's words I'm going to get wrong, a recycled polyethylene terephthalate polymer film barrier, which acts as a thin internal lining. The other uses what Carlsberg described as a 100% bio-based polyethylene furanoate polymer film barrier. Does anyone get those words?
But are these things safe? I get
that's an
trying to be
important
more
question.
sustainable, but like, I don't know.
We'll find out in about 10 years.
I know,
right?
right?
Exactly. That's
That's
true.
the thing.
Yeah.
The prototypes are going to be tested, with Carlsberg stating that its eventual aim was to produce a 100% bio-based bottle without polymers. So it's just a step in that. In a statement on Friday, Miriam Shingleton, who is the Carlsberg Group's vice president of group development, said the firm was pleased with the progress we've made on the green fiber bottle so far. So I thought that was interesting because I was wondering when I saw the headline, how is paper going to work to hold a liquid? It doesn't. It's like you said with the straws. They get mushy.
Yeah.
But here they are working
They're
on things
developing
with
something.
actual smart
It
people.
reminds me of the conversation we had at Gunpowder Falls.
Wow, that
And
was a
how
long time
he he is solely bottles and he will not use cans. And we had a big conversation about how unsafe the liner in cans. Some people consider it to be unsafe, and I love cans. I when I buy beers, I typically only buy cans unless it's something amazing or Evil Genius. But he was very adamant about cans not being safe. But it is something to think about. Like we celebrate cans because yes, it protects the beer. Yes, it's more sustainable, but I don't know. Is it going to kill us all in the end?
Got to die something, right?
Yeah, I guess. My question was like how shelf stable, like how long do those bottles last?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to
Because you
start
think
like
of-
seeping out after a
Yeah,
while?
and Carlsberg has a very wide distribution.
Yeah.
I would
and-
think all of those things have been.
Yeah.
Probably
Well, you talk
figured
about the
out.
lining inside. Yeah, who knows? I mean, sure, sustainable packaging is
Yeah.
good. Remember when we did the 6-pack rings that were like edible?
Yeah.
So like fish could
yeah,
eat
yeah.
them. Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was a cool one.
I
like
noticed that there's some breweries that are starting to use plastic rings again. Remember when we
Like
were
the
in
ring rings, like the old school
Yeah.
rings?
And
Really?
like I get my scissors out
Yeah,
and I
and you're
cut
always supposed to
them
cut it
because
and
we
make
were
you
taught
feel
that
good
in
like you're-
elementary
yeah.
school but I didn't realize that was something that was coming back.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the pop-in whatever they are.
which are
things.
really expensive and
Yeah.
not really sustainable either, which we should be collecting them and returning them to
Yeah.
breweries for many reasons. And some are using the Sheets beer, I think, had the cardboard ones, the cardboard rings.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah, yeah.
So that's a lot more sustainable.
Wouldn't it just be? I mean, I can't imagine it's that much more expensive to just stick them in like a 6-pack holder, like you would bottles. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just put cans in that. Like, why do they have to have rings at all?
Well, it's less packaging.
Yeah, but would it really be more expensive than those plastic topper things? I mean, I don't know.
I reuse the plastic topper things.
They are reusable.
They
That is
are
one
they are
thing, yeah.
recyclable, but recyclable is not recyclable is just something to make human beings feel like they're being sustainable. I'm sorry, it still takes a lot of resources to recycle something and turn it into something
Yeah,
new.
yeah.
Yes, it might be. Well, I don't know. Is it better than putting something in the landfill? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough because you gotta like you said, consider the process, like how much fuel is being burned to make that recycling happen,
water.
how much water is being used, how much. Yeah, that's a different podcast, man. Can we talk about
My
beer?
head hurts
Let's talk
just
about
thinking
beer.
about this.
Not only let's talk about beer, let's talk about Black Forest. 'Cause here we are, nice sunny Saturday morning in October. Nice
This
little-
is my favorite time of year, guys.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it finally feels like fall out.
yeah,
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Now you guys, I'm sure we'll get to it in a little bit. You have a patio that is behind us, not open year round because it can't be right in this area. But I want to take a step further back from that, and we'll go back to the patio. How long have you guys been here?
About 5 years.
5 years now.
Yeah, we opened up in 2014.
Whew, all right. That's awesome. I love the decor in here. I said it in the top of the show. It's so cool. It's a nice rustic vibe with the wood paneling all around.
Right.
But it has like a little bit of a modern touch going too, especially with the TV and all. But I haven't been here before now, and this place is so cool, and I'm kind of ashamed that I haven't.
Yeah, when we built the place, we wanted it to fit in, to Ephrata, to Lancaster County. So we built the decor that way. The outside is, the lapboard kind of siding and stuff. We get a lot of people that come by and they say like, "Oh, we love what you did with the building," thinking that we renovated and whatnot, but we built it from scratch. So
Wow.
yeah.
I don't think I would have realized that.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was going to ask you like how you found this space, but you just kind of got the lot and built the building, huh?
Exactly.
Oh,
'cause
wow.
my wife and I, we wanted to do a bed and breakfast and brewery combination as kind of like our pre-retirement plan.
B&B.
Exactly. So we looked around for quite a while, and we looked at a bunch of bed and breakfasts, and this was the only one that would actually support having a craft brewery on site. So we bought the B&B and then built this building and opened in December of 2014.
Does the B&B still exist?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's doing real well.
That's awesome.
It's a big white building right next door.
Oh, I was too busy looking for the street signs.
Yeah.
Ready to turn.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
How many rooms are at the inn?
We have a total of 6. So
wow.
we have 4 in the main house, and this little cottage building out here, that's 2 of our premier rooms. So we have 6 rooms for rent total.
And the B&B or the inn has a different name, right?
It does.
It's
1777 Americana Inn.
There we go. What's that? Where's that name come from?
It was basically, that's what the building was called when we bought it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we kind of changed it around a little bit. It was called the Doniger House at one point, then the 1770 Inn or something like that. So we just kind of kept the same kind of branding but changed it around a little bit.
Nice. Cool.
The building was built in 1777.
Oh, there we go. That's cool.
Makes sense.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What a neat place to have an inn, though. You're in the heart of Lancaster County, so there's so much to see around here.
Yeah.
But even just being right on the main street in Ephrata, there's you guys. Boniface is not far up the street.
Mm-hmm.
The winery that I forgot the name of already is not far up the street.
Yep.
Like there's so many
And then there's
things
Poor
to
Man's.
do. A Poor Man's,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course. We love those guys. That was a fun time.
That was another early day recording.
Was it?
You know, we were at Poor Man. Oh no, I'm
No, Poor
thinking
Man's
of,
was late
I was
at
thinking
night.
of
Poor
Lost
Man's was-
Tavern. Never mind. Yeah, Poor Man's.
It all
you
just
cut that
blends
part out.
together. Or not.
Or not, whatever.
No, it's just a neat area, especially for anyone that's not from this area that wants to experience Lancaster County. And I mean, how cool is it to be at your B&B and then there's a freaking brewery right there?
That's pretty awesome.
And that's been a good draw for the B&B. Just
Yeah.
being able to hang out at the brewery, come back from a long day of traveling or sightseeing and stuff, and you can hang out, have a couple drinks, and just walk home.
Yeah,
So people
that's
enjoy
pretty
that.
cool.
So
cool.
we talked about the name of the B&B. What about the name of the brewery? How did that come about?
Yeah, Black Forest came about years ago. My sons and I, we used to do a lot of backpacking, and one of our favorite places is Black Forest Trail up in northern Pennsylvania, and it's a 42-mile loop trail. So if you look at our logo, we don't have a glass with a logo on it, but basically that's an outline of the trail.
Okay, interesting.
So we always wanted to, we've been big beer drinkers. Like my father is always a big beer drinker. I am. That's what my sons like. So we always thought about having a brewery one day, but we'd never thought it would really actually come to fruition. But on the trail, we kind of thought about that, and that's what we would name it. And then sure enough, years later, we were able to do it.
That's cool.
Now, do you or your sons have any previous brewing experience before opening Black Forest?
My oldest son, Ryan, and I, we started homebrewing together at this point probably 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really our experience. So we just dove in it, very humble beginnings, had the Mr. Beer kit and started out that way and just really just loved it.
See, Dan, it can happen.
It can happen. It shouldn't happen for
Dan
me.
made a
but it
terrible
can.
Mr. Beer beer.
That's because all Mr. Beer kits are, well, at least the default one, the American Light, is not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Well, we fell in love with the process, and we did probably 1 or 2 batches with the extract. Then we moved right into all grain and built our own systems and just really got into it. And it was really a fun hobby. And then, the kids get older, they went to college, and then it was really a hobby for me at that point. So I continued doing it and really loved it. And, here we are.
Now, you said that this was the only B&B that would have work with a brewery.
Yeah.
So was that something with zoning, something with licensing, or just the owners didn't want to sell if that was your plan?
It was really, real estate. I mean, this is one of the smaller lots that we looked at.
Okay.
But the B&B was really nice. A lot of the B&Bs we looked at were, in bad shape physically. They require, thousands and thousands of dollars to rehab them. They might have had more space, but, we weren't willing to put that kind of money into it. And then some of the B&Bs were kind of off the beaten path, so we'd have to have a well and septic mound, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's just kind of problematic with a commercial building.
Right, yeah.
So when we found this B&B, it was kind of newly renovated. I mean, it was in good shape. We settled on the B&B, and we had guests the next weekend.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of a turnkey operation, and we did scale back the brewery a little bit, to fit it into this space, but it was perfect. I mean, we have a 4-barrel brewing system, 6 taps, and that's a perfect size for keeping this business and keep it going pretty well. We don't really do much distribution at all, but we don't really need to. So
what size is your system?
it's a 4-barrel system.
4-barrel. So you wouldn't even produce enough to really go beyond the tap room. I imagine you're probably easily selling that beer right here.
Yeah, exactly.
How often are you brewing?
Well, I have 2 fermenters, so that's kind of, it's a small space back there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll brew once a week, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Fill up one fermenter that ferments for a week or so, and then you just cycle between the 2.
And do you usually have the same? Well, the Oktoberfest is probably a seasonal, but do you usually are the other 5 standards?
Not really. I mean, there's a couple standards on there, like the Kolsch. We usually have year-round. In the summertime, we'll bring our Hefeweizen back on to replace the Kolsch. The Belgian, that comes in and out just based on the season. The Shrek is usually always on tap. That's
usually
our
what
stout.
I get when I come here. That Shrek is really good.
Yeah, thank you. So as we get into the winter months, we'll bring our porter on. We have a nice imperial stout that we do, and then we take the stout off at that point. So it is kind of a challenge only having 6 taps and trying to keep the beer list fresh. But we have a pretty good repertoire of recipes now that we've been in business for 5 years.
Yeah, my very important question is, How have you survived with only one IPA on tap?
Yeah, well-
that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, we try to hit the whole gamut, no matter
Yeah.
what the tap list looks like.
Right.
We try to hit the whole gamut from, lower alcohol to higher alcohol, lower hoppiness to higher hoppiness. So a lot of places have, 3-4 IPAs on tap. We have a couple good IPAs in our lineup.
Right.
But typically we only have one on tap at a time.
That's really nice to hear.
Applause for
Yeah.
I need to taste that Kolsch right now.
Yeah, I
All
was going
right,
to say
so
the beer's
Kolsch?
been sitting there for a little bit. I'm destroying things as I knock the iPad
I'm going to assume
over.
this is the Kolsch?
Yes.
All right, going to let Steph start.
So
Steph has the honors.
You guys brew purely with the Reinheitsgebot, correct?
Yes.
The German purity law.
15, 16.
15, 16.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Another really cool thing.
15,
Yeah,
16.
and that's just it's kind of a personal preference for mine, but it actually turned into a nice little business niche for us, where there's
You're going to need to pour more of this. Sorry.
I don't know of any other breweries.
Yeah, I don't
that
think
are
Steph's
doing
giving that up.
Nope.
And I really want to try it.
Bartender, 2 more, please.
Yeah,
It is rare to see a brewery sticking to
Yeah.
the Reinheitsgebot. That's awesome. And as somebody who loves the classic styles, thank you for doing that.
yeah, you're welcome.
I thought it was going to be limited when I first came on, but we can still do a lot of styles with
Yeah.
the purity law, and it's not limiting. We've done a
Yeah.
hazy IPA, and we didn't have to throw in, quarts
Yeah.
and quarts of grapefruit. We get you
Yeah.
there with the citra hop
Exactly.
and everything.
That Kolsch is delicious.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny. We get we get travelers from all over the world, through the B&B. We had a couple of guys traveling on business from Kolsch, Germany, and they tried this and they loved it. They said it was very authentic, probably one of the best ones they had in the country when they were over here.
It's really nice. I like the bready, biscuity
I was going to say the same
malt
thing.
character, like especially in the end. Really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I love and this was the reason I picked the game we're going to play today is because you guys follow the Reinheitsgebot, and my game is all about beers that have really crazy things in them.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point about you thinking it being limiting, I always think it's amazing that it's not. And I mean, you just look at the array of colors we have in front of us and the array of styles of beers from 4 ingredients, like the things you can do.
Yeah.
And you don't have to put fried chicken in your beer to get
Right.
people to come and drink it. Like,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Speaking of fried chicken, that's terrible. I know. I think I saw something that you guys have a kitchen here, right?
We do.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what kind of food do you serve here?
We serve like paninis, salads, soups, chilies, that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, we have a good appetizer menu too. You can probably explain a little bit more of it, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of appetizers. We have dip trios. We have artichoke bruschetta. We do a buffalo chicken dip, spinach dip, stuff like that. And we haven't gone there yet in the podcast, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, but we are expanding. And the biggest thing in our expansion is that we're tripling the size of our kitchen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ephrata has really been missing out on a solid place to go to for fork and knife food, like a good steak, good seafood. And that's kind of what we were hoping to bring to Ephrata and pair it with good craft beer, made on site. So we're really excited about that. And like I said, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but we do a lot with our 5x10 kitchen that we have now, and we have
Wow.
Yeah.
it's nuts. He
Yeah.
pumps out a couple $1,000s worth of food on a busy Saturday.
Good Lord.
And that's just
Yeah.
one person.
Oh my God.
And
If you look at our menu, it's amazing.
How many items do you have on the menu, like roughly?
It's a full sheet. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll grab it so you guys can look at it.
It's
but
probably 20 plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 We've been to a couple places where like you look at a menu and it's fairly diverse and all this thing, and they're like, yeah, it's like the size of a porta potty, and they're making all
Yeah.
this. Like, how do you get all this food out of that kitchen?
It is amazing.
Yeah. I tell you what, brewers like they know how to use space like for brewing,
Yeah.
but they also know how to use a really small kitchen or find somebody who can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
amazing.
magic, the things that come out of those
Yeah.
kinds of kitchens.
Yeah.
I really think breweries should be anybody who runs a brewery is just like really good at like maximizing the use of space.
Yeah.
It just seems like regardless, like whether
Especially
it's
Mad Chef.
the dining room, the brewing space, the kitchen, like
Yeah,
it's
it
all
should
just
be-
like how do you make this work?
Should be consultants on like the tiny house hunter episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's where you can put all of your kitchenwares.
So has the new menu been talked about yet?
We're getting there. Dave, who's our chef, I've worked with him for years now, and he wants to do a tapas menu. A lot of shareables, kind of going in the direction of what Trogs does. We're not going to do the family style seating where everybody sits at the same table and you don't know who that person is next to you. That works for Trogs. I mean, I'm not knocking them on that, but we want to go in the direction of their menu. It just works, and I think that's what craft breweries do well.
So expansion. How?
Well, I mean, they built the whole building. They can do whatever they want, really.
I mean, it's such a tiny space, like not just the building, but also just the land here is so tiny. So I'm curious how you're going to make that work.
So basically what we're going to do, we have seating for 30 now, if you include this little bench. So we're going to redo the seating in here. We're going to put an addition on over that patio. So basically the patio is being torn up. So we're going to excavate the patio completely. That'll now be the same level as this room, same level as the floor. We'll, put a roof over it. The kitchen's going to go in the back third of that addition. And so we'll take our seating from about 30 to about 50, 55 people.
Wow. So you're really going to double your space.
Yeah, exactly. And, the patio, the way it's laid out, the tables are a little bit bigger, the chairs are bigger, so it's really comfortable and leisurely, but we're going to kind of make that more like in here where you have more standard sized tables and chairs so you can get a little bit more density. But the cool thing about it is we're going to have a completely retractable glass wall on the front of the building. So, and then on the side as well, so that it still have that outdoor feel to it. So on nice days throughout the year, whether it's, winter, summer, whatever, if it's nice out there, we can just completely retract the one wall, both walls actually, and then it'll feel like that outside feel and, sit around in hoodies and stuff like that. It'll be great.
Oh, that's cool. And the patio we're talking about is right behind us through this wall. Is there going to be are you going to put an entranceway here or is it still going to be separate?
So these two windows here, that's going to become a passageway basically.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we'll use that space for private events and stuff, so we can rent it out for corporate parties or family parties, anything like that.
That's cool.
When is all of this going to start?
Hopefully in November. We just got our zoning approval, which was challenging, but we got the zoning approval for that. We're working on the building permits now. We have all the contractors lined up, all the product is lined up, so we're ready to go. It's just we got to get the building permit, then hopefully break ground in November timeframe. Cool.
Are you still going to be open during the construction?
Yeah. So the plan is we can build everything outside, get it all under roof, by the time winter really sets in, finish it all out, and then cut, one weekend or one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll cut those windows out, put the passageway in, and we're open.
Wow.
Are you going to be able then to use the space? Because your kitchen right now is back where the brewery is.
Right.
So is your plan to add another fermenter, or what's your plan to utilize that space in the brewery?
We're going to put in another walk-in in there. So we'll have more cooling space, because that's really one of the challenges with our brewery is I actually have a little bit of capacity. I could brew more, but I don't have a place to go with it. So, having more cooler space is going to be key. Plus the fact we're going to increase our taps, so we're going to move to 10 taps instead of 6. So we're probably going to bring in some other beer from different breweries from around the state. Obviously, it has to be PA brewed.
Yeah.
Right.
But we're going to try and find breweries that are, maybe, off the beaten path a little bit. Give people something that they can't get around this area, so it's more of a destination kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's cool.
We're never going to brew a sour or anything like that, so we understand that our customers want to have a sour, so we'll bring those in. And we're really excited to just open up and show people what we can do with the kitchen, and then bring in those other beer styles that we're not going to do.
You could also put on a strawberry milkshake IPA.
I would never.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
I think we're good on that.
Yeah.
Can I try something else?
Actually, I mean, obviously, tasting order is up to you, but I might recommend the Oktoberfest.
That's next in line. Yeah.
Yes.
Yay! This is my favorite fall style of beer. I want this to unseat pumpkin beers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just called Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you asked earlier about the tap. So the planks that we have there describing the beers, if you count 1 through 6, that's what's mapped up with the tap handles.
Oh, so the Kolsch is on tap 1, et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
Why don't you just make the sign in order of the taps?
We're going to get so much shit from customers about this because they talk about it all the time. And I was really hoping that wasn't going to be brought up.
My OCD is like,
But that was the first thing you brought up, and I already know right away, one of our Mug Club members, they just got married. She's going to give me a lot of shit for it.
So right now it's 243165, but it's not always that.
No. So
is it because you're lazy and you just don't want to hang the signs in the right order? I'm gonna give you.
They're
a little
in
shit
order
about
to
those.
us.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. I Rain Man it. I just
So, but the way they're hanging, that makes sense for a tasting order, though.
Right.
Is
Yes.
that why you hang them
yes,
that way?
it
So
goes
there
least
is-
hoppy to most hoppy.
Yeah, it's logical. It is a logical order.
It's
so I
it's-
get it. I'm
it's-
just giving you shit.
Our walk-in, and you guys will see it after this, it's very small. So when Bob brews, we get 6 half kegs out of every batch. And when he throws them in there, we're not going to move the other 6
Yeah,
half kegs
right,
that have already
right.
been
It makes
filled
sense.
to acquiesce to
Yeah.
your weird number of things.
Makes
So
sense.
they land where they land, and then we can change a little tap thing, and we're good to go.
I'm sorry, it was the first thing I brought up.
Oh, it cut me deep. It really
I'm
did.
sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to start off on a bad note.
That's all right.
So are these styles that you chose to brew, are these styles that you homebrewed with your sons? Are these styles that you just like to drink?
A little both. So some of the recipes that we homebrewed with are still on there, like the 42nd Mile IPA, actually the stout, the pale ale. Those are all ones that we had during the homebrew days. But then we come up with other recipes, based on the season that's coming up. Something that we haven't done before, so we just try to be able to keep it, a nice fresh turnover.
I do want to bring up, I don't remember when it was, but I was here Valentine's Day a while back, and you guys did a chocolate and beer pairing.
Yeah.
And it was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Is that something you still do?
We
I
do
don't-
events like that. We
Yeah.
don't stick to the same event every time.
Well, with the new kitchen, you're going to be able to really expand what those sorts of things look like.
Yeah, and that's why I've started diving into the world of Cicerone, because I want to get to that food and beer pairing and help the chef with that. So yeah, when we expand the kitchen, that's something we'll definitely dive more into with pairing beer with food.
It was just a really memorable experience, and it's kind of hard to get those memories anymore when you go to breweries because there are so many of them. I can't even remember the names of them or beers anymore, but I remember that the unique chocolates that were paired with the beers. I just remember that being a really cool time, and I hope you guys keep doing stuff like
Yeah,
that.
we're probably
yeah,
going to have to do
definitely.
it again after Denise listens to this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Hi, Denise. Anyway, I wish Denise was here. Hi,
Yeah,
Denise. We
that
miss
was
you.
her brainchild.
Yeah.
The chocolate and beer pairing. Yeah.
Well, women have good ideas.
I'm not
Sometimes.
going to tell her about
All
this
the time.
podcast.
She'll never find it.
Denise was my home ec teacher in high school.
That's
so
fabulous.
I've known Denise probably for
Wow.
15, 16 years now.
Yeah.
And
great.
I would have paid a lot more attention in her class if I would have been
Yeah.
told that I was going to be pouring beer for her later
That's
on.
so fabulous.
That is funny.
I love it.
So I got to ask. I was looking at the taps again, and I noticed off to the right of them you have like origami dollar bills.
People always ask why or who does them, and there is no answer. People just sit there like you're doing now, and they look at it, and I tell them there's no rhyme or reason, and then they pull up YouTube, and then they do an origami dollar. And I tell people it's my tip relief fund. If it's a really shitty night, I just pull all the dollars out. I don't have the patience to do it. I watch the people do it throughout the night, and I'm like, I don't know how you're doing it.
You pay
There's
attention
some
to something for that
interesting
long.
things up there.
There is. There's like boats and boat. There's a couple of them that are like
Boats
the same. Like
and boats.
I was gonna say boats and bow ties, and bow ties just ended at boat again for some reason.
I thought we were going into boats and hose for a minute.
Boats and boats. Well, no, because there's like 3 of them that are like bow tie shaped. I
Yeah,
don't know if that's
yeah,
what they're
yeah.
supposed to
I
be.
see.
So that must be like an easy one to do.
Yeah,
Comes up
There's
first
also
on
pull up
YouTube, I
YouTube.
guess.
Go ahead.
Yeah. There's also boats and boats.
Boats and boats and boats and boats.
There's a yacht, a
Yeah.
canoe, a kayak.
That's the name of this episode, by
Oh
the way.
God,
Boats and
boats. And off to the right of the origami dollars, you mentioned Mug Club earlier. I'm assuming
Yeah.
that's part of the Mug Club.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you members of the Mug Club get? What's all involved?
They get obviously the mug. It's an engraved mug with a logo and their number. They get a T-shirt. They get a free beer on their birthday. They get discounted admission to various things that we do throughout the year. We'll run various trips, bus trips, and stuff like that. So they either get into that free or at a discounted price. Usually, when we do a beer release, when we come up with a new recipe, we'll have a tasting for them. So, like on a Tuesday night or a Monday night, we would release that beer, and only the Mug Club folks are allowed in to preview it. And then we usually have like appetizers and stuff with that. So
Sometimes
those
they
kind of
name the
things.
beers too. They've
Yeah.
named 2 of the new beers that we've done.
Ooh.
Our New
Yeah.
England IPA, they named it the Goat Slayer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Goat Slayer because it was right out. It was a New England IPA, and I thought it was
No,
going to get fired.
no, I don't want to hear the rest of the story.
And
No.
it was when Philly was playing New England in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And I really thought that was the end of me because I suggested that we do a New England style IPA, and then Philly went to the Super Bowl against New England. And if New England would have won, no one's going to drink this fucking beer that we just brewed. We're screwed. But thankfully they won, and then they paid homage to that win by naming it the Goat Slayer because we beat Brady.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. One of our top selling beers, of course.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Makes my heart
Although,
hurt.
so if you
wanna-
are,
don't
that
wanna hog it
Oktoberfest
all.
was incredible. Is
I mean,
incredible.
I'm happy
by
to
the way.
finish it. I just didn't want to hog it all.
So if you guys brew by the Rhein-Heitsgebot, is the New England IPA also Rhein-Heitsgebot?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just
you can make a hazy IPA
No, that's-
without
you just have to
adding
make it
additives.
wrong.
Nobody does. Nobody does. That's what kind of
It's
made
kinda
me wonder
true,
because hardly
actually.
anybody does that kind of stuff. So like
yeah.
that
the
says
yeast,
something about it itself. Then that's
the
really
yeast
cool.
actually
And,
adds to the haziness as well as the ingredients.
Yeah, the malts, the oats, and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Belgian beer.
Oh my god.
Yep. So this is the JG Belgian, and it's named JG because Jacob Gorgas is the JG, and he built the inn.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, he built the inn. He was a tall cabinet clock maker back in the day, back in 1777, and he built the inn just as it was a home for his family. So we just we thought that would be kind of cool. We try to all of the beer names had something to do with the history of either the inn, the brewery, the town. So we try to keep it authentic that way.
Did we mention why the Kolsch is called Conrad Kolsch? Now that you bring that up.
Yeah, Conrad Beisel was the one who founded Ephrata back in like 1720, something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. He started the cloister right down the street, so that's where that name comes
okay,
from.
cool.
Yeah, if you're into cults and stuff like that, just
Yeah,
that's,
like cults.
that's pretty much what it was. Wasn't
essentially, yeah, yeah.
Weird.
A religious cult.
it? Like his followers' wives weren't allowed to sleep with their husbands or something,
Yeah.
but they were allowed to sleep with him. And,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
And he was a
course.
big drinker, but they didn't drink beer, so they drank a lot of, I guess they drank mead or something along those lines, or wine or something. But we've tried to think of ideas about how to bring back like an ancient brew in Ephrata, as ancient as 1700 is. And there's really nothing there. We've looked up and down. We've gone to the Historical Society across the street, and we're still searching for that like old Ephrata recipe.
Yeah,
So if you find it, let us know, please.
Of course.
We
Should
had
ask
this.
Lou.
We should ask
Oh,
Lou.
yeah.
Lou would know. We had this on Last Call at the Ephrata Beer Fest this year.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yes,
Because we
that's
never
right.
got around to having you guys on the show, so we made sure we had one of your beers.
oh, good.
Really nice. Definitely a Belgian beer,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
definitely
it's
has-
it's drinkable.
but it's not. Yeah, it's not super sweet. It's
it
not
has,
over the top.
It has the sweetness,
It's not
but
super boozy.
it doesn't linger, which everyone knows I don't
Yeah.
like when it lingers.
It ends
You
kind of
have
dry.
to let
Yeah.
it
Dude, don't let it linger.
What's the ABV on this one?
What's your guess?
Oh man,
It doesn't.
it's a Belgian strong.
It's probably 7.
I was gonna say 7 to 8.
Yeah,
I think it's like a 7.2, 7.3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
All
Around
right.
there, yeah.
we're
Yeah.
good at this.
I know.
We're
We
professionals.
drank a lot of beer.
It's one of those beers though that you can drink a lot of it, and then you're like, "Oops, that was 7%."
Yeah.
Oops, that was 7. Yeah, it
Yeah.
does go down easy, but it does have that. Whenever you get that Belgian yeast character,
Yeah.
I always pause. Like, this is probably higher in alcohol than
Yeah.
I think
We've
it is.
learned the hard way.
Yep.
It's delicious.
Really nice, and I love that. And we talked about being traditional and following the purity laws. Everything is just the style. There's nothing
Yeah.
crazy about it. There's nothing
Right.
gimmicky. It's not it's not a Belgian strong with cherries, which is fine. We've had really good ones, but
Yeah.
I just love good, solid, traditional
And
making the style the way.
Back
it's
to
meant
what
to be
Eric
made.
was saying, that's why we have a lot of room to grow. I mean, we have many recipes that we can still come up with and stick to those German purity laws because there's so many styles that we haven't even ventured into yet.
Yeah. Have you ever
So-
made a Schwartz beer?
No.
We've talked about
Yeah.
it.
It's literally one of my favorite styles ever. Please make a Schwartz beer. You guys could do it well. Please.
I want to bring back the white
Please.
IPA. People have been asking for that.
Oh,
We make-
really?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Schwartz beer. Please.
Oh my god. I'm going to put all the
Yeah.
numbers out of order, and we're going to
Yeah.
plastic straws
You
everywhere.
can
next time.
put you can put the numbers however you want them, and you can put a straw in my Schwartz beer as long as you make a Schwartz beer. I love
Just
them.
throw a 7 somewhere on the taps. Change one of them to
Yeah.
a 7. Just to throw everyone off.
you want to move on to the stout?
Yeah, let's do the stout and then play a
And
game.
then-
Okay,
Yeah.
is that what we're gonna do? Okay, I didn't know if we were.
But I
gonna, 'cause we're
can't
like halfway
promise
through.
I'm going to pass this one around.
You are. Stop being so greedy.
I know. This is what happens when you miss me for an episode.
Well, Eric learned quick. He's been handing all the beers to Steph first.
Yeah.
He learned.
She has
knows
that
who's
demeanor
in
about
charge
her.
here?
Yeah, Steph is definitely the one in charge.
So the stout is the Shrek, right?
Yeah.
That's named after the Shrek Tavern, which was a
Yep.
speakeasy at the Green Dragon way back when.
So not named after a
Yeah.
green ogre.
Wait,
No.
It's also
Popular.
spelled
there was
differently
a
than the Green Ogre.
speakeasy at the Green Dragon. For anyone doesn't know,
Yeah.
the Green Dragon is an flea market / farmers market.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge.
It's like a
That's what she
Zerns,
said.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Well, people
is
might
that
not know what Zerns is either.
is that
We have an
considered
idea.
Adamstown, Ephrata?
No, it's
Denver.
Ephrata.
It's
Yeah.
Ephrata.
Yeah, it's definitely Ephrata.
It's across from our local record store. It's only open on Fridays.
Yep.
But they have tons of food and like vendors and weird shit.
I used to
and-
love going there as a kid. I haven't been in years, but I loved
Yeah, I haven't
it.
been in years
Yeah.
either. But you can find shit there that you didn't even know existed.
The weirdest, craziest, most random stuff.
I had no idea there was a speakeasy there.
yeah, I
though.
didn't know that either.
Yeah.
When was that?
That was, I think it was even before Green Dragon started there.
Wow.
It was like the original site.
That's so cool. I need to
Yeah.
research about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, this is, as
Can
I
I
mentioned
just say,
earlier,
I haven't
my
tasted this
go-to.
yet, but it smells amazing.
Oh, it's so,
It's a
so
great
good.
Nice chocolatey roasty.
Uh-huh.
It's nice and mild. It's smooth. It's not heavy. People think stout. It's going to be heavy, but
Yeah.
No, yeah,
it drinks real easy.
But it's not like watery and thin either.
Right.
Like, still
It's
has
got a good
nice-
mouthfeel and
Yeah.
then nice roasty characteristics, but also being lighter than some people would expect. I think it's mostly because a lot of breweries that are out there, when they do their stouts, they try to amp it up and they do
Yeah.
the big old Russian Imperials and barrel aged. But there's something to be said for a good, well executed,
Yeah.
not that kind of stout.
Right.
And this is great.
Yeah. Thank you.
What's the ABV on this one? Don't ask me to guess.
5.
Yeah, it's like 5.5.
That
5.5
works out well
-ish.
as a black and tan. So
Ooh.
half a pour
Yeah.
of that and then the Kolsch on top.
Oh, maybe
Well,
last call.
Last call. We're doing
There it
that
is.
in last
I'm
call.
gonna write that down. Black and tan for last call. All right.
That sounds amazing.
Well, we've got a couple beers left on the thing, but I want to save those for a little later, and I feel like we should try to play a bit of a game.
Oh, I never came up with an intro.
Oh, is this going to be on the fly?
Yep.
Yes.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Cheers, Internet, and welcome to Happy Fun Time Games, the podcast trivia segment that is sponsored by Big Straw. As we talked about earlier, it has been very refreshing to be at a brewery that strictly abides by the Reinheitsgebot, celebrating the vast array of styles and flavors that can come from the expert use of just 4 ingredients: water, barley, hops, and yeast. Isn't it wonderful? So I thought it would only be appropriate to foul the rarefied air of such pleasantry by diving headlong into the classic Happy Fun Time game that highlights those breweries that scoff in the face of antiquated German purity by throwing every ridiculous thing they can think of into beer in an unending cycle of one-upmanship. That's right. It's time for There's Weird in My Beer. For the uninitiated, this is a game in which I will give you a brief description of a beer and 3 multiple choice options of what the weird ingredient in that beer is, and you have to guess what it is. You must choose wisely, or maybe foolishly. And we will begin, in time-honored tradition, to my left, with Dan, to tell us about our first beer. Now, everybody, let's not forget that there is something on the line. If you lose, there is a punishment, and I will tell you what the punishment is at the end of the game.
Oh, dear.
The
So-
suspense is killing me.
Our first beer of the game, speaking of, is a Schwarzbier. An epic collaboration between 7 Colorado breweries.
That's
resulted,
a great idea.
yes, in a Schwarzbier called Primordia. Now, that is a clue, believe it or not.
Oh, no.
I don't like where this is going.
This German-style dark lager was brewed with 26 pounds of a fun and earthy ingredients. Was it mushrooms, soy sauce, or truffles?
Ooh, I will say mushrooms.
I want it to be mushrooms. That would be amazing.
Steph is
I'm
going
saying
with the mushrooms. Dan and Steph both saying mushrooms. Bob,
I'd say mushrooms.
mushrooms again. Oh, Eric, you going to agree or disagree?
I'll lock in mushrooms.
Locking in mushrooms. Everybody's saying mushrooms. Everyone is
Hey.
correct. It is, in
Nice.
fact, mushrooms. This was the combined efforts of Crooked Stave, Mockery Brewing, Great Divide Brewing, Black Shirt Brewing, Epic Brewing, Our Mutual Friend, and 14er Brewing Company.
Our mutual friend.
That's what it said. Primordia Schwarzbier is named after the last stage of the mushroom's development as a fruiting body. Not that anyone would have known that. This unique beer incorporates 2 editions of oyster and shiitake mushrooms totaling 26 pounds, sourced from the Grow Haus, a non-profit indoor farm and market in North Denver. Moving on to our next beer in the game, and Steph is going to guess first on this one. Next up is a Vienna lager made by Shorts Brewing Company in Michigan. This experimental brew, with aromas of caramel and light biscuit, is included today largely because of its amazing name. It's inspired by a classic childhood snack brewed with 3 nostalgia-inducing ingredients. Are they?
And you're not going to tell us the name of
Nope,
the beer.
not till the end. Hot dogs, beans and cheddar cheese, Franks and beans, peanut butter, raisins and celery, hands on a log, bagels, marinara, and mozzarella, bagel bites.
It's a, what was the beer style?
It is a Vienna-style lager.
I'm going to go with the one with the raisins.
All right, Steph is saying peanut butter, raisins, and celery, Bob. So we got Franks and beans, ants on a log, or bagel bites.
I would agree with the raisins.
All right, also going with the raisins, Eric.
Just to be different, Franks and beans.
All
Franks
right,
and
going
beans.
with A, hot dog, beans, and cheddar. Finally, Dan.
Raisins.
Also going with the raisins. The raisins have it.
Yes!
It is, in fact, the raisins.
Yes!
It's brewed with peanut butter, raisins, and hand-juiced celery.
That
It is
actually
called,
sounds good.
wait for it, ants on a lager.
Yes!
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a pun, too.
Oh, yeah. Mic drop.
Oh, yes.
It's almost enough to forgive Shorts for being 20% owned by Heineken. Moving on to our next beer of the game, and Bob is going to guess first on this one. This is from Earth Eagle Brewings, a brew pub and homebrew shop in New Hampshire. They produce an artful array of gruits, grisettes, sours, and gozas, and also Porter Cochon, a smoky porter with a wonderfully smooth mouthfeel, purportedly owing to the boil infusion of fragrant sage, that's a lot to get through, and something a bit more unnerving. Is it chicken livers, lamb stomachs, or pig heads?
Oh. I'll say chicken livers.
All right, going with chicken livers. Eric?
I, too, will take chicken livers.
All right, also chicken livers. Dan?
What was it? Chicken livers? I'm sorry, what was the second one?
Lamb stomachs or pig heads? Porter Cochon.
This is in the boil, right?
Yes. With sage.
Yeah.
Imagine that smell on the bread.
Oh, God. I'm going to go stomachs. Lamb stomachs.
Dan always goes with the stomach. And finally, Steph.
What'd they say?
They both said chicken livers. Dan said lamb stomachs.
Lamb stomachs. Ew. No, I'll say chicken livers.
Saying livers. Nobody is correct. It's pig heads.
Ew.
It's pig heads.
Yeah.
Porter Cochon is the heralded porter brewed with pig's heads. Skinned, smoked, and hung in the boil kettle with some hops and some sage. For the curious, the word cochon is a French word that refers to domestic pigs or piglets. It's also a restaurant in New Orleans and a slang term meaning dirty pig, swine, or contemptible person. Also, contemptible beer. All right, this is our final beer of the game. Kept it quick because I know we were on a time constraint today. I'm going to recap the scores real quick because remember, there is a punishment on the line. Tied 3 ways with 2 points each, Dan, Steph, and Bob. With only 1 point is Eric. You are in trouble.
I don't
If
like
you
this.
get this right and everyone else gets it wrong, everyone gets punished.
Ooh.
Essentially, is what's going to happen. So we're going to let you go last since you have the fewest amount of points. And we're going to start back around with Dan. This is a group of 4 Colorado breweries get together every week during the year to brew experimental one-barrel beers with varying results. One of the projects was a recently concocted golden ale described kind of cryptically as starchy grain Belgian. It was fermented with a Creek yeast and brewed with a savior of sustenance to the cash-strapped everywhere. Is it instant rice?
Wait, say that sentence again?
It was fermented with a Creek yeast
Yeah.
and brewed with a savior of sustenance
A savior of sustenance.
to the cash-strapped everywhere.
Poor people.
Is it cheap food? Is it instant rice, ramen noodles, or Spam?
What was the beer style?
It is
Light
a golden ale.
Golden ale. With a Creek yeast.
Yep.
I want it to be Spam. I'm going to say Spam.
Dan is saying Spam.
Why?
That doesn't seem that far-fetched.
What?
Maybe just to
I
me.
mean, we did just have pig's heads.
That's true.
So, I
But
mean,
rice
you know,
seems like
which are probably
rice
spam,
doesn't
too.
seem weird. I mean, we put rice in beer all the time.
This is true.
Oh man, I'm gonna go against my usual strategy here. I'm gonna say ramen.
Steph is saying ramen noodles. Bob
I'm going with rice.
going with
Oh,
rice. Oh,
shit.
everybody's all over the place.
Hey,
Finally,
we
Eric.
have someone blowing us kisses through the window.
That was Reese.
That was my son, Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take ramen noodles as well.
Saying ramen
Oh
noodles.
shit!
Would you believe it's ramen noodles? It is ramen noodles. Ramen Golden Ale comes from the joining of Chain Reaction, shout out, Strange Craft, Black Sky, Brew on Broadway, and Firmly, which is an independent craft beer laboratory. It was made with ramen spices and ramen noodles, and then fermented with Strange Craft's Cherry Creek yeast. Astute listeners may remember another ramen-infused beer from Happy Fun Time Past. Episode 164 featured Cup O Beer. A goza made by Texas-based Collective Brewing Project infused with 55 pounds of ramen noodles. On that one, they tossed out the flavor packets and added a custom spice mix to the noodles, but the flavor packets are what make the freeze-dried starch strings palatable, which brings us to today's punishment. In my pocket,
Oh god, it's in his pocket. Are we eating
I have
tater tots?
4 chicken ramen flavor packets.
Oh shit!
We're going to put these in a beer.
All 4 of them.
Now, I know I don't want to foul any of your beers, so I've also brought a selection of beers that I will allow you to choose which one you want.
Gee, I wonder what they could be if they came from
Is
our
it
fridge.
Miller Lite?
Miller Lite didn't make the cut. It almost did.
Really?
These are all a little bit old. I may not say the name of all of them because some of them are from breweries that we like and they're good beers, but they're beers that probably shouldn't sit around very long. We have a Tangerine Creamsicle Hazy IPA.
Oh my god!
We have
Oh my god!
a Dutch Chocolate Ice Cream Sundae Milk Stout.
Oh
God.
my god!
We have
Bob hates
a
his life.
very, very old, let's see, I can't even read the date anymore, double IPA from a brewery that actually makes really good beers. And finally, I don't even remember what I put in here. Oh, we have another hazy IPA that's a little bit old. So I just kind of randomly grabbed these.
I didn't know we had that one.
Yeah, so I didn't actually add up the points real quick to see who our losers are. We actually have a 3-way tie for losers. Steph is the
welcome.
only one who won with 3 points sitting at the top. Dan, Bob, and Eric
I'm so proud of myself.
all must suffer only having 2 points apiece. Only a 50% hit rate, guys. Now, this was a bit cutthroat because there were only 4 questions. I knew we were tight on time today, so I did a kind of a quick game. But yeah, here it is. So if you want to see this punishment, sign up to become a patron on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You also get access to Last Call. But this is, of course, the portion of the podcast, speaking of Patreon, where we shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon. We would like to thank very sincerely the following individuals: James Lamberg. It's metal. Jan Shank. Joe Mansell.
You're going to eat that ass.
PA Brew Review.
Son of a bitch.
Beer, Bourbon, and Games.
Too damn delicious.
Mark Bodunio.
Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
He's picking the long ones.
Yeah, Poor Man's Brewing Company.
9.
Kathy Obashevsky.
Cool.
Eric Dixon.
Edit point.
Nate Foxman.
Cryo hopped.
Brian Mills.
Clams?
Wolfgang von Colt.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Jen McDonald.
Peanuts.
Marilyn Engelman.
Hell yeah.
Josh Price.
No.
Sorry, Josh.
Ron McDonald.
Dark, thick stuff.
And Victoria Miles. There he is again. If you want to
Oh my
find out.
god, he's on our soundboard so many times.
He made a lot of weird noises in that episode.
That's true.
You can get on this list. You can get access to Last Call. You can get access to the punishment videos. Go to patreon.com/beerbusters to find out how to get in on that action. But right now, Dan, what do we have to do?
Pause and save.
And pay our tab.
And pay our tab.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
Cheers to you out there in Beer Busters land. I want to tell you about the good people at Brooklyn Brew Shop. They've been empowering the kitchen curious since 2009. Their beer making kits are compact, attractive, and easy to use. keeping the most space-strapped brewers in mind. You get to use the same ingredients at home as world-class craft breweries. There's no extract, no sugar powders, just grain, hops, yeast, and depending on the beer, some other fun and exotic spices. And they also have a new series called Farm Steady, which is do-it-yourself food kits like cheese, baking, fermentation, foraging, and more. And this encourages people to revel in the kitchen by savoring foods they would never imagine making at home, like bagels and cream cheese or soft pretzels with beer cheese, Italian cheeses, and kraut as well. And they even have hard cider, wine, and sparkling wine kits too. Moo's excited about it too. Each kit comes with everything you need to make your professional quality beer at home. And if you visit bit.ly/beerbustersbrooklyn, you get to enjoy fast and free shipping on orders over $59. That is bit.ly/beerbustersbrooklyn for free and fast shipping on orders over $59 from Brooklyn Brew Shop.
No, your beers. No. Know your beers.
Hey, Steph, what do you got?
Hops.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some more German hops.
Let's talk about hops, baby.
Okay.
That was in my head earlier when we mentioned this, but anyway. So I'm going to talk about 3 more German hops today. I mean, since we're in the land of Reinheitsgebot, I thought this was fitting. First of which is German Pearl, which is a mild and bright aroma hop with mint and spice overtones. Originated in Germany, of course, bred at Hull from English Northern brewer stock, Pearl became extremely popular with German growers and brewers after its first release in 1978. It's mainly used for aroma, but it's an excellent year can have high enough alpha content for use as bittering as well. Its combination of delicacy and break go well with the clean flavors of European lagers and cold fermented ales, as well as the yeast character of many Belgian beers. Some brewers also find non-traditional uses for its flavors in blends for pale ales and other hoppy, warm fermented styles. It's lively and sweet with harmonized suggestions of fresh mint and spice in the nose. On the palate, Pearl shows a complex mix of floral and spice with mild to medium intensity. Alpha ranges 4 to 8%, beta 2.5, 4.5. German Polaris, a powerful wintergreen and eucalyptus, make Polaris a vivid flavor component. Originated in Germany, released in 2012, Polaris is part of the new wave of flavor hops being released by the Hull Institute. Mainly used for aroma with typically very high alpha acid levels and high oil content, Polaris makes its presence known in IPAs, Brettanomyces fermentations, and Belgian styles. Use a base malt with enough character to stand up to it. It's intense and lingering impressions of wintergreen pleasant fruit notes with a Hallertau-like sweetness and herbal note. It can exhibit pungent, exotic spice flavors early in fermentation. Alpha is 18 to 24% for German hop. That's insane. Beta 5 to 6.5. Finally, German Saphir, a new school aroma hop with a noble profile and great brewhouse utility. Of course, originated in Germany, released in 2002 by the Hop Research Center in Hull with a combination of noble hop characteristics with good cultivation properties. Again, used for aroma, it's a higher yielding, more disease-resistant alternative to Hallertau. Saphir can be used in many of the same formulations: Belgian ales, Weiss beers, farmhouse ales, and many traditional continental lagers. Strongly but pleasantly spicy with sweet fruity overtones like citrus, red berries, mild and approachable in this noble hop sense. Alpha 2 to 4.5%, beta 4 to 7%. I hope I'm inspiring people to try some new hops.
Yeah.
Like some of these hops I've heard of, but I've never actually studied what they actually produce or what they're used for. And I'm really curious. Like this wintergreen John would be kind of tasty.
You just said John.
I kind of want to make a Kolsch with it.
Do it.
Wintergreen Kolsch.
Wintergreen Kolsch.
Start
It's also a matter
homebrewing at your house
of
again.
how
Yeah, we should.
available
Ron's
they
house.
are as well. Like,
Well, it is amazing what is available to brewers and home brewers. The internet is something that helps with that. I don't know if you've ever heard of this new
the information superhighway
contraption that's now available. But yeah, it is amazing what is out there and available. And I think we should all go out of our comfort zone a little bit and try some new things. So
definitely,
I hope I'm inspiring you. At least Joe Man. Joe Man's usually inspired by the shit I say. So thanks, Joe.
that's somebody.
That's somebody.
That's true. You inspired somebody.
Shout out to Joe, man.
Yeah.
Can we drink more beer?
Yeah. Let me hit the button.
Beer me! Beer me! Beer me! Beer me!
Round 2, fight.
Ooh.
Thanks, Eric.
You're welcome.
What we got here?
That's the Americana Pale Ale.
We're going hoppy now.
I'm guessing that's named after the bed and
Appropriate.
breakfast.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So
all right.
what hops are in this beer?
That, I believe, is
It's a secret.
Magnum and Cascade.
Classics. Have you ever considered using... What was the wintergreen one called? Pearl.
Not until today.
You are now
You
inspired.
should make a Schwartz beer with it. It's quite tasty.
That
It
beer
is.
is our biggest mover, but it's our worst seller because it's Denise's favorite beer. So go through a lot.
but you don't
Yeah.
sell it.
That's funny.
That is funny.
Denise is drinking all the profits.
Oh, that's delicious.
It's a good lawnmower / porch beer. It's one of
Yeah.
those kind of beers. Yeah.
Oh, but it's 6.5%.
Is it really? Oh,
Yeah.
I would have pegged it a little lower. Although it does have a maltiness at the end
Yeah.
that kind of like
Kind of
there's
holds
some,
it up.
there was some fermentable sugar in
Yeah.
there.
It tells you be careful.
I would drink it while mowing a lawn.
I can't remember the last time I mowed a lawn.
Yeah, we don't have grass in Philly.
Yeah. We have concrete. Even their backyard is concrete.
Yeah.
Although you chopped down a tree.
Weed tree.
I mean, it was a weed that turned into a tree.
That thing was huge. I had to buy an axe to cut this damn thing down.
Why did you let it go so long?
We don't go out back very often.
We didn't ever like one day it was just like, oh, there's a tree growing through the
Yeah.
concrete. We
Oops.
never go back there.
Yep. Whoops.
It looks really nice now though. It
Yeah.
was all redone and
Repaved. Yeah.
Looks really nice now.
Yeah.
You get some patio furniture.
Could drink some of that out back there.
Yeah, we could. What a tangent.
Your beers are available in growlers, right? You can get
Yes.
growlers to go. Do you have a growler machine?
No.
No, just growlers.
Just growlers.
So
yeah.
it's the only way to get it off premise.
That's correct.
Do you have a moral problem with growlers?
No, just
don't have a
space.
machine.
Yeah.
That's a good concern.
You need the
Cost.
machine, and
then the
it's,
empty
it's
cans.
not even the machine that's that big of a deal. It's like where do you put all the cans?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
got to
true.
store
That's
the
the big
cans
thing.
somewhere.
You put them on the roof.
Yeah.
We
Well,
pretty
that's-
much do that with the hops. So
Yeah.
we can't. There's no room on the roof.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll factor that in with the expansion, or still no crowlers?
It's not on the plan now, but we'd like to get everything expanded, see where we are.
Yeah.
You know, if we can add it in, then we will. But I want to see what the space looks like in the brewery
Yeah.
back there with the new wall.
Yeah, I mean, you've
and all
got
that
a
stuff.
pretty large like construction / new
Yeah.
kitchen, like, a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Crowler's probably
Yeah,
the,
that's
the,
the
the
honest
furthest
of
thing
the-
from your mind.
A lot of moving parts so far. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you fill other growlers than your own?
We do.
People bring their own? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, if
I
it's a
love doing
64-ounce growler, we'll fill it.
I love filling other growlers.
I've never heard anybody be that passionate
Well,
about it.
it's interesting, right?
It's our beer in their growler.
Yeah.
Well, and to see like where the growlers came from.
Well, yeah, that too. But
That's kind of cool.
I'm very competitive. So.
How much does a typical growler fill go for?
They're all 17 across the board.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
No, so it's just an even price.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That is,
17?
yeah. That's
We
not
don't
at
like
all.
math.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't even count. Look at the taps.
Yeah.
God damn it. Mug number 109, Georgia. If she listens to this podcast, she's going to replay this over and over again.
Mug number
She's my
109.
favorite
yeah.
of your mug club members.
Nice.
Don't say that.
Just to
now.
go on record.
Oh, this
boy.
is so.
Yes.
This is the worst thing we've ever done.
Message us when you're here, and we will meet you here for a beer number 109.
Yeah,
That's
true.
her new name, by the
We
way.
will. 109.
109.
Oh, goodness. Oh,
I think we have one more beer.
We do. We do.
One more.
So
What
this
is
is
that
the
last one?
42nd mile.
This is the obligatory IPA.
What
Yes.
is the 42nd mile of the Black Forest Trail?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
a 42-mile loop trail.
Yeah.
Have you done all 42 miles?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We'd like to, but
It's a really tough trail.
running out of time. It is. It is. It's a tough territory up there. Lots of steep inclines, very rocky at times. It's a beautiful area, beautiful territory, but
I've
it's
never
not
done
an easy
any of
hike.
the trail. I will have to hike that sometime.
Yeah.
Probably not all 42 miles.
Don't-
but-
Yeah.
That's a lot of miles.
Don't
break your leg
this
Don't
time.
break anything, please.
Oh, fuck you both. This is what I miss.
In an IPA?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I miss IPAs.
Oh, I really like the
this.
maltiness of that pale ale.
Yeah.
Like that nice malt backbone, as
Yeah.
I do air quotes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to hog it from you.
No,
Wayne.
you're fine.
What
That's
are the
really
hops?
good.
What are the hops in
Thank you.
this? I was going to say
Uh,
John again, but I didn't want to be made fun of.
Yeah, that is Nugget, Chinook, and I think Magnum.
And you
yeah,
can
that's
actually
nice.
see through it.
Yeah, you can, which is always a plus.
It's not.
Yes.
It's not hazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's translucent,
Hmm.
as it were. It has that beautiful amber color.
Yeah. You're right. This is what an IPA should be. I don't like what's happened to
Yeah.
them.
No, well, I think that a lot of beer drinkers are craving those types of IPAs.
Classic IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Retro from like 5 years ago.
It was more than 5 years ago, let's be honest. We're old.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But yeah, it's quite tasty. I like the
Thank you.
spiciness of the malts and the hops in there, and
We
it's
like
very
to remind
drinkable.
people what beer can be. I
Yeah.
mean,
Mhm.
what it has been forever. And
Good way to look at it. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool styles. You can drink the hazy IPAs. I drink them. You can drink the sours, but I mean, just go back to what beer was and what it should be, and that's what we like about what we do.
Yeah. Well, and like I brought up earlier, I just find it fascinating how many different flavors you can get from just using, the basic ingredients to make beer and all that. Because a beer a beer recipe is as much, if not more, about the process as it is the ingredients. So being able to take that,
true.
Just those basic things and then through the process make it very
The thing I
different.
found interesting is Lancaster newspaper. They do a reader's choice every year in various different markets. But Black Forest was, I guess, third of all the breweries in Lancaster County through their reader's choice, which I thought was very encouraging because, we are a, German purity law kind of brewery, and we're third place, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Oh,
So there's a lot of competition out there, a lot of competition of very strange and off the beaten path beers. So for the purity kind of thing to come back, I think is great.
And shout out to Ephrata, because 2 of the breweries in the top 3 in Lancaster County were from Ephrata.
Oh, wow.
Us and Boniface. Boniface was tied for second with Iron Hill, I believe, and then Mad Chef was first.
Yeah.
Aw, nice.
So Ephrata is a really cool destination
All
for
amazing
drinking.
those
breweries.
awesome people
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. St. Boniface makes my favorite beer right now. Their 225 lager is
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
literally my favorite beer
We
right
had
now.
that at the Ephrata Brew Fest.
Yeah, I
You
just
did?
had it Monday night because I went there for music bingo. That beer is amazing. John
yeah.
knows how to make a damn lager.
I still don't think I understand how music bingo would work.
They play a song. You
Okay.
have to figure out what it is because they only play a certain number of seconds, and then you mark it on your bingo card if you have it.
Okay.
Pretty
And usually you
straightforward,
go
really.
with a group of people.
Well, I just didn't know if it would
because
be
you'll
like-
be like, "What's this song? Do you remember what's the name of the song? I know this song." And like you work together, you help each other try to know the song.
Well, I didn't know if it was going to be over the course of an entire night that they were doing it, or if it was
We
like
do it.
rapid
It's
fire, a
2
couple
hours.
seconds at a time.
It's
Okay.
2 hours. It's usually 4 rounds. And then the first 3 rounds, they give various prizes like a Boniface glass or like a coupon for a free appetizer or something like that. And then the final round is a blackout round. So you got to do like the whole card, and whoever wins that gets a gift certificate to Boniface.
Would you guys like to promote any events happening at your brewery
Right,
instead of one down the
right,
street?
yeah.
We don't really have a lot of events coming up. We have the tent on the patio. We do one brunch a month, and it is a fundraiser brunch. So this month is to benefit Wellspan Hospital. They're building a cancer center.
Yeah.
And a portion of the proceeds from every brunch item sold on Sunday will be donated to them. So we do one of those a month for different organizations throughout Ephrata. We always do an adult prom every year, and that's March or April. And
probably
I like
April
that.
timeframe.
yeah, we get a
Yeah, it's a lot of
DJ.
fun.
Everybody comes in prom dresses, tuxes, stuff like
Oh,
that.
that's so great.
And it's to raise money to send special needs kids from Ephrata High School to their prom. So
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
great.
My heart.
we've done it
Yeah.
2 years now. We'll do it again next year for 3. But we always get them a limo and get them their makeup done and their hair and stuff like that.
Oh, that's so
That's
cool.
Yeah.
so
Oh,
great.
wow.
That's from my experience. I come from a sports bar background. I was a general manager of a sports bar in Shillington, and you can only sell so much Keystone Light until your soul dies. And to come to a craft brewery like this and to be involved in the community, that's what makes it awesome. That's why I love this industry. That's why I love this side of the business, because we can do fundraisers like that and be a part of the community and just enhance it. We're not here just to pour beer. We want to make our community better.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fabulous. If you want to learn more about Black Forest and see other awesome things they have going on, they are blackforestbrewery.net, and they're on the socials as Black Forest Brewery. I know you're on Facebook. You're not
Facebook,
on,
Twitter,
You're on Twitter
Instagram.
because I just
Yeah.
tagged you on Twitter and Instagram. So check them out on all the socials. Look for all the fun stuff. I assume you'll post updates of the expansion.
Yeah,
Oh,
So we
absolutely.
can see what's going on with that.
Yeah.
And
We plan to have it up and running by the 1st of March, or like the
That's
first week in
fabulous.
March.
Wow.
So
Good luck
we're-
with that.
Yeah, thank you. We'll probably have a big, St. Patrick's Day party / 5-year anniversary party / I'm glad we're open from the construction party.
Please give us your money. So
Yeah,
we can pay our
right.
bills.
Yeah, because
just
we're going
pay
to
for
desperately
this.
need it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys for having us out here. This is a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you for coming out. It was,
Oh,
it
of
was
course,
enjoyable.
of course. Sorry in advance of what we're all going to have to endure as part of the punishment.
We
'cause
got
that's
this.
just
We got this.
staring at all of us.
The
I was hoping
patrons
we
are going to
forgot
enjoy
about
it.
that.
No,
Yeah.
we never forget about it.
Of course not. Of course not. Well, speaking of the patrons, if you want to see what's going to happen in Last Call and see the punishment, you need to become a patron. That's patreon.com/beerbusters.
It's only $1.
It is only
as little as $1.
Yep, you can do it. You can do it. And if you can't, we don't haven't said this in a whole couple episodes.
I think we may have said it in the last episode.
Rate and review
Did
us.
we? Yes. If you can, rate and review on your podcast app of choice. That is podcast currency. That's how we all get in front of new ears. And do it for all,
we prefer fast ears.
The fastest
the fastest of the ears.
But do it for all the podcasts that you listen to, especially if you like them. Throw them a couple of stars on whatever app you listen to your podcast. That way they can help their audience grow as
It's
well.
like ratings. Like Nielsen ratings, but for podcasts.
Pretty much. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at BeerBusters. Facebook, we are BeerBusters Podcast, and there is also BeerBustersPodcast.com.
And we have a newsletter.
We do have the newsletter.
Somebody
Sign up
puts
for
a
that.
lot of work into it. I don't know who it is, but you know.
You do, and
Rich.
it is. I
It's Rich.
really love the changes you've made.
Yeah, actually,
It's
I'm really happy
awesome.
with the new overhaul.
Yeah,
Anyway.
very good. Good job. Unfortunately, that
was so patronizing.
I mean it. I mean it. You do a lot of hard work, and it all looks great. But
this is what happens when you're related.
That's right, and live together. Unfortunately, this brings us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters. If you are like me, and for some reason you had not been to Black Forest before, well, I've been here now. But if you haven't been here yet, you need to get here. And if you have been here, you need to come back. Because the beer is fantastic.
And then back again when the patio thing's done.
and again and again and again. And it's so cool in here. And then fold $1. You can put it up on the wall.
Boats and boats.
Yes. Well, guys, thanks again for having us out here. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you. Enjoyed it.
Well, I am Dan Baker. I am joined by my co-host and brewerologist,
Steph Hefner.
and of course the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
Call me number 109.
Oh God.
Oh, jeez.
Remember, no squids were harmed in the making of this episode. That phrase was coined in Ephrata. We'll see you next time.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the night that Dan got so drunk he couldn't drive himself home.
I remember that. We'll see where the fade out happens there.